All right. Hey, everyone. How are you today? How's it going? How's your week going so far? Let me know. All right. If you are watching live, hello and welcome. Just let me know if you're watching live. Say hi. And if you're watching the replay, just put hashtag replay in the comments for me. And I appreciate you watching as well if you're catching the replay. All right, so today I want to talk about fat burning because this topic, it's really been coming up a lot in my conversations with people lately. And if you've been in this group a while, I'm sure you've heard me say that fat burning is much different than weight loss. Those are two very different things. So, I want to start by explaining what it means to burn fat. And then we can get into the four common reasons that I'm going to be sharing today. And these common reasons are, um, things that make it difficult for people to burn fat. Like, so if you recognize these things in yourself, then this may be why you're having trouble losing fat or losing weight. So let's first talk about fat loss, and then we will get into these reasons for not being able to burn fat. Um, so fat loss means reducing fat mass, right? While weight loss is in an overall reduction in weight that includes fat, muscle, and water. So weight loss means it's an overall reduction in these three things: fat, muscle, and water. And fat loss just means just loss in fat, right? Burning fat. So, um, you may have subcutaneous fat, which is fat under the skin. It's the fat that you can see, that you can like grab a hold of, right? That's subcutaneous fat. And then there's also visceral fat. Visceral fat is the fat in the body cavity. It's around our organs and everything. It's like that deep um, fat that you really can't see. And so, you could look like small on the outside, but have a lot of visceral fat on the inside. Um, and this is not healthy. This is actually the worst kind of fat you can have when it's all in your near your organs and in your body cavity, because this causes a lot more health issues when you have fat around your organs and in your body cavity. So it's actually better to have the subcutaneous fat, the fat you can see, the fat on the outside. But none of us like that, right? We don't want a lot of this fat. So I'm going to talk about I'm going to give you some tips today that can help you burn this fat that we don't really want on our body, right? So, body fat is an energy storage depot, and it only gets burned when you use up all the energy in your bloodstream, right? Which is usually glucose. That's usually what is in our bloodstream is glucose. And so our body really can't get to that fat that is being stored on our body if it's always using the energy in our bloodstream, which is glucose, right? So if you're keeping a lot of glucose in your bloodstream, your body won't ever get to that fat, which we'll talk about more. And this topic, the glucose in the bloodstream, this brings me to the first reason that you're not burning fat. And that's because you have high insulin or high blood sugar. It could be either or it could be both. When you have glucose in your bloodstream, your body will always burn that that glucose in your bloodstream before excess body fat. So it will always go for the glucose in your blood first. That is its goal, is to burn up that glucose first. So if you're eating carbs or sugar too often, your body will never get around to burning fat because it's always working to use up the glucose in your blood. Okay. So let me know if that makes sense. If I explained that okay. So, when you have high insulin levels, it also stops the body from burning fat for fuel, and it encourages incoming food uh, to be stored as fat. That's what having high insulin levels does. So that's why, as long as your diet is high in carbs, your body will never have a chance to burn its own fat unless you have a very high metabolism. Like you've seen those people that can just eat carbs and eat fast food and junk food all day long and they never gain anything. That's very rare. And that means they just have a very high metabolism and they can take a lot of carbs, right? Their body can handle a lot of carbs, but most of our bodies can't. We don't need that many carbs. So, and that doesn't mean that those people don't have visceral fat just because they look skinny and small on the outside. It does not mean they don't have visceral fat. And it doesn't mean that they don't have high blood sugar or high insulin. It just means that their body burns it faster, right? It can burn through those carbs really quickly and then get to the fat. That's all that means. Um, so, as long as your diet is high in carbs, your body will never have a chance to burn its own fat. So lowering the amount of carbs that you eat, especially processed carbs, um, that is really the issue. The processed carbs, that's going to stimulate fat burning. If you lower those processed carbs, like from sweets and breads and pasta and things like that. Now, if you're eating like whole food carbs, like fruits, like berries and um, vegetables have carbs in them, and beans have carbs and fiber and things in them. These kind of carbs, these whole food carbs, you're going to do a lot better with because they are found in nature. Our body knows what they are. Our body recognizes them, and they know what to do with it, right? And not only that, these whole food carbs that I named, they are going to have a lot more nutrition. They're going to have a lot more nutrition in them, not just carbs like the processed carbs. The processed carbs have pretty much just carbs, sugar and carbs. But these um, these whole food carbs have antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and all these things that your body can use. And when you have that with your carbs, when you have these essential nutrients with your carbs, then it's automatically not going to raise your blood sugar as high. You're not going to have that as much glucose in the blood as you would with the processed carbs. So it's always better to choose processed or whole food carbs over processed carbs if you can, most of the time. Now, you guys know I'm not against like swearing off processed carbs. I think, you just have to be in control of them so they don't control you. So, that's my first reason. If you suspect you have like high insulin or high blood sugar, that's probably why you're not burning fat. That's probably why you can't lose weight even though you try. So that's number one. And then the second reason you are unable to burn fat is that you have chronic stress. Um, So, when we are stressed, our body releases a hormone called cortisol. How many of you have heard of this hormone, cortisol? I'm sure that you have. Uh, so, chronic stress leads to a continued release of cortisol. And when cortisol gets released for too long, this tells your body you are in danger and to hold on to energy, right? To hold on to your energy, which is calories, carbs, So when your cortisol is being released because you're stressed all the time, you're pretty much telling your body to hold on to your energy because there's danger and you need to save that energy, right? Um, and so, so when cortisol gets released for too long, this tells your body you're in danger and to hold on to it. And that means to hold on to fat, right? To hold on to fat. Do not try to burn this fat right now because we're just trying to survive, right? We're stressed. We are cortisol is being released. This tells your body uh hold on to this fat. We might need it later. We might not have food available later. So hold on to it. Um, so if you stay in a stressed state for the majority of your day, like many of us do nowadays, like with stressful jobs and you know, running around all over the place and not having any downtime or time to ourselves or overscheduling ourselves, this all causes a release of cortisol. It causes stress. Um, so, when you're doing this the majority of your day and you're stressed out the majority of your day and you never do anything healthy to lower your stress, like you don't deal with it in a healthy way, then your body won't be able to burn fat because you're pretty much telling it to conserve it as much as possible. When you are constantly stressed out, chronically stressed, releasing cortisol all the time, all day long. You never give your body a break from it. This is what you're telling your body to conserve your energy, to conserve that fat as long as possible, as much as possible. So let me know if that made sense to you. And many times we do things like drinking a glass of wine at the end of the day or eating some kind of comfort food to deal with our stress, right? How many of you can relate to that? But these habits only make the problem worse. They only make it worse. And so instead, you want to do things that stop your body from releasing cortisol. You want to stop it. You want your body to have a break from this, right? And you want to be able to bring it down. Um, so instead of these habits like dealing with it by drinking wine or a beer or having some kind of comfort food, the better thing to do to bring down your cortisol and relieve stress and relax you is to do things like getting out in nature, getting some movement, and practicing meditation or grounding, putting your feet or your hands on the ground, on the earth. This relaxes you. This brings down cortisol. And if you can make this a consistent practice, then you will be relieving stress in a much healthier way than drinking or eating something and making it pretty much worse. That's not you may think it's relaxing, but it's keeping your cortisol up because alcohol and processed food and things like that keeps your cortisol up. It keeps releasing it. It keeps it high. It doesn't give it a break. So you want to do other things that are not food related to bring down your cortisol and your stress level. All right. So the third reason you are not burning fat is because you are protein deficient. And you guys know I talk about this all the time. I talk about protein for everything. I know it. Oh, hey, you're learning about carbs. Okay. Are you diabetic, or what made you start wanting to learn about carbs? Let me know. Um, so protein. And eating enough protein boosts your metabolism, and it reduces appetite, and it changes several weight regulating hormones. These are the things that eating enough protein does. So, eating high protein foods helps build lean body mass, which raises your metabolism when you do this. When your metabolism is higher, then you burn fat easier. Like I lifted weights this morning, and so now that I'm sitting still, I'm here working and sitting still, I'm still burning calories faster. I'm burning uh fat and calories quicker, um just sitting still, because I've lifted weights. I've done a workout, and now my metabolism is um working. It's working to heal and repair my muscles that I worked this morning. So that's what it does. And, I made sure I ate a high protein breakfast. And so that helps, eating high protein is going to help my metabolism and help my muscles grow and repair. So, um, when your metabolism is higher, you're going to burn fat easier. And protein also helps keep you full for much longer. Like, now that I've been eating a high protein diet for the last several years, I don't snack. I really don't snack like I used to. I used to have something to eat every 2 or 3 hours. And now I don't have to snack, because I make sure I'm eating enough protein at my meals, and that helps me stay full for longer. So, um, so protein will help keep you full much longer, and then you won't feel the need to snack. Like, you know, if you're eating, enough protein at your meals, then you won't even think about snacking. Like, you'll get to a point where you're like, I'm so full from my last meal, I don't even want to snack. And that's a great feeling. Um, I never thought I would, I was always hungry because I didn't realize I was under eating protein. And so I never thought I was going to get to the point where I only had to eat 2 or 3 meals a day and be satisfied. So, um, as long as you can keep your protein up where it needs to be, like every day or most days, you'll have less of a chance of regaining the fat that you do lose. So when you eat enough protein and you can keep that amount up, you're not gonna regain that weight. Like a lot of people do when they go on a diet, they'll regain the weight back. If you can keep your protein up, then you'll have way less of a chance of regaining that fat, right? Regaining it back. And so I know you're probably wondering, well, how much is enough protein? And and what I usually recommend is a minimum of 30 grams of protein per meal. If you're eating like 3 meals a day for an adult, you need a minimum of 30 grams at each meal. Um, but that number can be very different depending on your personalized needs. So we're all very different, and I actually need more than that, because of my personal needs. And but I'm just giving you the minimums. But if you're an adult, if you're an adult-sized person, then you're gonna need at least 30 grams per meal. Um, so anyways, if you are interested in knowing like your personal amount of protein that you need to hit to start burning fat, I do offer a personalized nutrition blueprint. I do have that on my website. Um, if you are interested in that, you can just type blueprint in the chat and I can send you that link to read more about it and get more information about it. Okay, so the fourth reason you're unable to burn fat is that you're too sedentary. So if you are sitting most of your day and not getting much activity, then the extra calories you eat above your BMR will be stored as fat. You know, anything, if you're very sedentary and you're sitting, but you're still eating, you know, you're eating 3 meals a day, but you're not getting a lot of steps or exercising or getting a lot of movement, then your body's going to store those extra calories from fat, even if it's from healthy food. Even if it's from whole foods, if you're eating over the amount that you're burning, it's going to store it as fat. So I mentioned BMR. BMR is the minimum number of calories required for basic functions at rest. That is the definition of BMR. It's the minimum required calories um, needed for, you know, for you to just sit here all day, right? Um, so if you want to know yours, you can just Google a BMR calculator and find out what yours is. So just Google BMR calculator and you can find out what your minimum required calories are for like if you are sedentary and you sit all day, that's what that's the amount of calories you would need. So basically, it means the amount of calories you burn by sitting all day. That's what your BMR is. So if you have a desk job and you don't exercise, you won't require many calories above your BMR. Or, you know, you may want to stay right at your BMR if you don't want to start an exercise program. If you are very sedentary, you may want to stick to your BMR, you know. Um, so, but, you know, you know, I always say that this is not healthy. You know, I read a lot of studies, I read a lot about nutrition and fitness and health and all these things. And it is not healthy to be sedentary. You know, our bodies love to move. Our bodies are made to move. They love movement, they love activity. Because you know, it releases this feel good hormone. Um, when we get movement, when we get outside, when we get activity, our body feels better. It releases feel good hormones that make us feel better. So movement not only helps burn extra calories that we may consume, but it also has been proven to be one of the best activities for improving depression. So if you start making it a priority to just get a little more movement than you do now, you know, 5, 10 minutes, get a little bit more movement than you do currently. And it not only can burn those extra calories that you may eat during the day, but it also can improve your depression and your mood. So that is a bonus there, right? So having a lot of fat puts puts us at risk for other health issues like heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, things like that. So if you suspect that one of these four reasons may be why you're having trouble burning fat, I want to challenge you to use my tips that I gave you today to improve the issue. I want to challenge you. Like, if you recognize that one or two or all of these things are maybe reasons that you're not burning fat or you can't seem to lose weight, take my tips with you and start improving the issue, and see how much better you feel. So I'm always here for you if you need some support, if you need to talk, if you have more questions about this, you can always leave a question in the group or DM me, let me know, and we can have a DM conversation about what's going on with you. We can even have a phone call. You can leave a question in the group, like I said, and that can help other people if they're dealing with the same thing and they see your question, then that can help others as well. So, um, all right, you guys, just let me know if you have any other questions, if you need any extra support. I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you guys next week. All right, bye.